Wildlife Center is a nonprofit wildlife rehabilitation and conservation education center. So we rescue sick, injured, and orphaned wildlife and also provide conservation education programs in our community. Now we have a state-of-the-art wildlife hospital. We have about 50 acres of restored wetlands, salmon habitat. We have 19 outdoor aviaries, an education center and offices building, and a native plant garden and several trails. So things have really developed.
The Ambassador Bird Program is basically a select group of individual birds who sustained some sort of injury in the wild that made them unable to thrive in a natural setting. And these specific individuals were deemed able to live a quality life in human care. It takes a specific set of circumstances to make that work. And so these animals participate with us in education to help act as ambassadors for their species. When the students come here, they will meet all three of the birds in different ways. So they'll get to see Odin and they'll get to see Nell, but primarily they'll get to meet Cormie. Cormie is a double-crested cormorant, and she came here in 2015. She was just a couple weeks old at the time, and what we know is that she fell from the sky, and she did not yet have flight feathers, so we know she wasn't flying herself. Our best guess is that an eagle picked her up out of her nest, and for whatever reason, it dropped her. Eagles are the most common predators of cormorants, so it's a logical conclusion to make there. When she was dropped into a tree, and a kind citizen saw it happen and fetched her out of that tree and brought her here. And she had a number of injuries at the time, most of them resolved, but the one that did not is that she fractured her humerus mid-shaft, and it healed very misaligned. So she can get around just fine, but she can't fly properly and not well enough to do a migration or evade predators or things of that nature. So it's this bone right here. So it's between your elbow and your shoulder, and hers is broken right about here. Cormie's a good ambassador for a number of different reasons. Some of those are just her particular circumstances. So she came into care at just a few weeks old, and so she's been around humans most of her life. And so where for other birds that would be a big adjustment, for Cormie that's just normal. And so she doesn't have hesitation about meeting new people or being around a crowd or anything like that. So that's pretty ideal. She also is a member of a very social species. So while some birds prefer to be solitary, Cormie prefers to be around others, and so that also helps her in her role as an ambassador. Cormie's most comfortable when she has total control over her environment. And so that means that she has the freedom to move where she'd like to move. She has the space that she's asking for, and if she asks for more space, that she is granted that. Part of the reason that things work so well for her here is that she can communicate clearly and can be understood. And she has an expectation that if she communicates something, that we humans will listen and respond accordingly. Cormie comes out of her enclosure sometimes, and so they may see her out and about. They may see her inside of a building because she also goes inside. They may see her swimming in her pool or diving for fish. They may see her doing some of her daily behaviors like getting onto a scale. So when Cormie's outside of her enclosure, she has a sort of patio area that is hers, and that is her space to walk around on. And so visitors shouldn't be up on that space. It makes a clear distinction for her about where she should be and where the humans should be. It also, if she comes off of that area and walks around, it's a good idea to just give her a little bit of room. And if she approaches us, that's fine, but we shouldn't be approaching her. And it's okay to follow behind her when she's walking. For Cormie, as well as for all the wildlife in the area, it's nice to keep your voices quiet. Maybe listen to the birds that are around. Pay attention to what you can hear rather than what we can say. Cormie's diet is made up of fish, and her primary fish is herring because that's her favorite. So Cormie does lots of different things for lots of different reasons. She has the same basic healthcare activities as the other birds do. So she gets on her scale every day. So we do those sorts of things every day. She also gets a foot bath sometimes so that we can clean up those feet for her. And then she does lots of other activities. Some of them are for just her own mental stimulation or because she appears to enjoy them. Others are for achieving a specific goal, such as going for a car ride so that she can come to a school. They can tour the entire facility, so they can go through the clinic and see how the wildlife rehab program works, and also tour the property. Well, we live in Oregon, so it's always a good idea to have a raincoat with you. Layers, anything that you would bring if you were going to go spend some time outdoors. So we use good footwear, so some sneakers or something along those lines. It's a good idea to use sneakers that haven't been in a place where there are lots of other wild birds, because we try to keep things clean around here for our wildlife patients and for our ambassador birds. So good shoes and something to keep you warm and something to keep you dry. So when we're around birds, it's important to pay attention to their behavior to make sure that they're comfortable. And if they're not comfortable, it's important to give them space. With any of these birds, keeping a certain amount of space from them is a good idea, because they are still wild animals. And unlike our pets at home, they don't usually want to be touched or have people too close to them. So staying back a little ways is good. It's also nice if we keep ourselves calm. And so if we keep our voices quiet and we keep our bodies calm and don't wave our arms or run around.
We are excited to have you here at the Wildlife Center for a visit and teach you about how to promote compassion, empathy, and respect for all life. To learn more about the Wildlife Center and to get involved, visit our website at www.coastwildlife.org. You can learn more about volunteering, how to donate, or become a member. Or you can email our volunteer coordinator at volunteer@coastwildlife.org.